Hello YouTube, and welcome to just a quick update. As you can see, pretty much I haven't been lying. I am on a vehicle binge. So as you can see, I've got, car palooza happening here. I'll go through each one of them quickly, briefly. Most of them are pretty much the same model with a few special ones there that you probably see, especially those of you that are fond of hunting on eBay. But to start with the update, this is something that I've actually had for a couple years now. For whatever reason, this week I just decided to put it together. So it's a small, I don't know what you want to call it. I guess those, rented lawn signs for businesses, things of that nature, special events. So I thought it was kind of cool. I apparently bought it way back in 2015, and I just never ended up assembling it. I actually bought two, so that's sort of what's sitting in the package here. So this is how they come, or I guess came. If you could tell, Precision Design Company, PDC.ca, apparently no longer makes laser cut kits, or they're just not producing them at the moment, or they've run out, or something or another. So I actually wanted to get more of these. I went to their website, and unfortunately they didn't have any more, so I'm kind of happy I picked up the two that I got. So just giving a quick review here. Dealing with the instructions, they were great. They were pretty much self-explanatory, well illustrated. So I mean, if they ever do, and they even came with a little paint holder tab, so you can paint it. So obviously that's what I did. It's not the standard wood color here. I actually just hit it up with the Krylon black spray paint. Then I also hit it up with the, whenever it decides to focus, and I also hit it up with the khaki to simulate the concrete pads, and, I must say it turned out pretty well. The signs here are actually adhesive backed, albeit pretty strong too. So I don't know if you'd really want to cut these out or just sort of scan the size and go ahead and make your own decals. In hindsight, I'd probably say I'd make my own decals just because they are rather thick, and to sort of press it down in the areas like the corners as soon as it focuses. Aziz, light! There we go. So you can kind of see it's sort of starting to peel away. So I mean, again, in hindsight, I probably should have used decals, but good news is if it ever does peel off, I'll replace it with the decal of my own liking. But moving on with the update in terms of vehicle palooza, as you can see, I've got a whole bunch of Ricko product up here. Ricko apparently doesn't make these anymore, or they don't exist anymore. Similar to Model Power, which is the Subaru Impreza in the middle. And then these ones here, can't remember what they were called. I think it's like Yang Ming or something like that. But they're kind of interesting. I'll get to them in a second. But starting off, in case nobody's ever seen these, Ricko makes them in plastic versus, say the die cast of Model Power and a few of the other ones like cherry metals and things like that. So sorry, I got this thing right up in front of the camera here. But yeah, they did a pretty good job. Looks exactly like a Dodge Caliber. So I ended up getting 3 of these. One thing to mention, they do have a very interesting retention mechanism. But yeah, so I ended up getting 3 of these. Obviously these will be for my auto yard, for the auto racks unloading. So that's those, and that's sort of similar to why I grabbed the last Impreza that eBay had available. Paid through the nose, but again, Model Power isn't around anymore, and nobody else really seems to be picking up the slack. So I already had a bunch of these, and again, going to be using them for my auto yard. Actually, we'll keep them out of the way. We'll take these guys, move them over here. So moving on, did find too a Ricko BMW M6. Wouldn't really grab this as a personal pick, but unfortunately it came bundled with what I really wanted, which was the Ricko Hemi charger. These things, again, are out of production. The guy that owns, I think it's Summit Models or Summit Custom Cuts or whatever it's called, he's got a bunch of these throughout his layout, and they look amazing, and I wanted some, so I've been hunting high and low, and sure enough, I found some. They didn't come cheap though, and then obviously, again, for those people on eBay, yes, I am that asshole. I got the one with both the spotlights attached, and again, mint inbox. Very pleased about this. Yeah, can't complain. They look great, but I'm actually going to keep the Charger RT over here just as a comparison when we go over to these ones. So these ones were actually pretty cheap. I think I picked them up for about $8 each, but as you can see, they're 172. They're not 187. So that brings a slight dilemma into the equation because, well, let me go through the cars first. So obviously this is a late model Ford Mustang. Looks awesome. This one I'm obviously only have one of, so I'm going to put throughout the layout. Park it somewhere nice. Oops, and I just bumped my camera. This is a late model Vet C6, and again, looks amazing. Definitely going to park that up somewhere on the layout once I get done with it. And then these two over here, Dodge Viper, looks pretty wild, and same thing with the BMW Z4. So aside from them being really good looking models, they're pretty big. Right, again, standard HOs 187. These are all, or at least half of them are 172. So I mean, just to give you an idea, right? That's a Dodge Magnum, and that's the Dodge Charger that it's in theory, basically the extended version of. So I mean, it is considerably bigger than that. So I mean, that obviously poses a slight dilemma. Not much of a dilemma because. Basically, I'm going to leverage a technique called forced perspective. It'll be a bad example to show here now with it, but I'll give you an idea, right? Or even Einstein's theory of relativity. Something's big only when compared to something small and things of that nature, right? So, I mean, to give you a comparison, this was one of those Yang Ming Porsche Cayennes. I ended up giving it to my son just because, it really looked out of scale. So just for comparison, this is a HO scale Mercedes M-Class. So to kind of hold them up there as a comparison again, right, it's big. But again, something in the background compared to something in the foreground, now they kind of look about even, right? So, I mean, there's one cheap trick I could do. The other thing is to, right, nice, relatively HO scale sized rig. And again, when you put that beside it, it looks passable. It looks somewhat believable. So I'll be able to place a few of those for what I paid for them. I'm definitely going to use them because it's really hard to find modern North American cars out in the marketplace these days. Everybody seems to be modeling, 1960s, 1970s, like just nothing for current era. So I mean, I apologize to everybody else that sort of bid on some of this stuff. I had to get it. They don't make it anymore. I need it. Unfortunately, I'm doing modern North American layout, so to speak, right? So I had to get these, but that's about it for this update. Watch out for one of my next upcoming videos with a 21-pin lock sound decoder installed in the Bowser locomotive. But that's about it for this one. So until next time, see you around, have fun, and enjoy.